Hello friend, and welcome to the slowest sim driving channel on YouTube. I'm Grandpa Goes Gaming and we're here at the famous Mount Panorama circuit for a Group 2 endurance race. This is a 50-minute race with a 24-hour cycle on it. We've got Chim Chaser, Elton, Molt and Doulage. They're the first fourth drivers and they're all gentleman drivers. And then we've got Dens here in fifth, who's going to want to be getting past them as soon as possible. Also got Arden, Dr. Pepsi, Kevman, Mackie, and that great classic looking car. We've got McFlurry, Tweetman, John Boy, who's got to be one of the odds-on favourites to win this race. Espadretti, who's been so dominant in our Group 2s in the past, and myself there at the back. So let's see what's happening. A future Chim Chaser already under attack from Elton. Chim Chaser and Elton have both been in our videos before, and we know they're both very fast drivers. They're going to try to scamper away from the other gentleman drivers who they're going to be using as a buffer. We've got Dens in fifth, who is ridiculously quick. Arden and Dr. Pepsi are also both very fast drivers. Kevman, perhaps not as fast as those guys in front of him, but certainly a very solid driver with some very interesting lines, certainly some very interesting apexes. Elton is getting dropped just a little bit now by Chim Chaser, who's really on it, but not all of these drivers are giving it their full because some drivers are going to be protecting their tyres or conserving fuel. Chim Chaser a little bit deep there, and in fact, Chim Chaser lost it. Couldn't really see what happened. I think he's gotten the power too quickly as he went down to descent, and that put Elton into his rear quarter. That has backed Elton up into Doulage and promoted Dens into third. Dens currently under attack from Dr. Pepsi. These two drivers have got a good long history, which is all very well documented on this channel and on others. And Dr. Pepsi now going for the move as we go towards that dog leg, and it looks as though he's got it done, but can he get it cemented in this heavy braking zone? He can. So Dr. Pepsi moves up into third place, and he is now setting off after Doulage. Doulage right on the heels of Elton. Elton there, a little bit of a connection issue, but nothing that's going to really affect him too much. He's doing well to pull away, but behind him, Doulage is now coming under pressure from Dr. Pepsi, who is catching up, and just behind there, Arden catching up with Dens as well. So we're going to have a great battle here at the front of the race. It's going to be night time and then daytime. There's going to be pit stops for fuel, pit stops for tyres. Doulage looking up the inside of Elton. A lot happening. Excuse me if I can't quite keep up with it all. And towards the back of the field, Espadretti and John Boy, who have been starting at the back because of their points tallies in the league, they're starting to make up some ground. So we can expect a big battle towards the end of the race. But heavy damage on with these cars as well, so one little slip like the one Chim Chaser had could really ruin somebody's day. Doulage all over the back of Elton as we go to this very difficult descent. This is a tough off-camera braking zone here. There's one side then the other, and it's Dr. Pepsi who really nails that braking zone, puts himself right on the gearbox of Doulage's car, and he is really throwing down in this race. Dr. Pepsi, a driver we know when he gets a bit between his teeth, he is speed ka-chow. He's dropped Dens, and that is no easy task. In the slipstream, moves to the inside. It might even get some tow from Elton in front, and indeed he is past Doulage, but Doulage drops into the slipstream. Can he be later on the brakes here? Nobody looking for a move there. A little bit early for a do or die attack. Dr. Pepsi really got it hooked up to that corner. Elton was a little bit wide, and Dr. Pepsi going for the lead on the final corner of this lap, side by side with Elton. Not quite got the move done. Elton managed to edge ahead. In fact, Dr. Pepsi there was put out of position by being on the inside. That's enabled Doulage to get back through into second place. Dr. Pepsi not giving up on that position. In the background, Espadretti is attacking Dens, and Chim Chaser made it back into seventh, so well done Chim Chaser. Also, we've lost Kevman. He's been taken by McFlurry. Doulage makes a move for the lead. He's got it. Is Dr. Pepsi going to follow him through? Elton didn't need to cover the line. Dr. Pepsi there happy to just sit behind, but in the background there We've got Dens and Espadretti side by side. These drivers both incredibly quick, and I wouldn't want to be chased by either of these, but they're battling amongst themselves, so that's enabling the 3 cars ahead to perhaps get a little bit of daylight. Dr. Pepsi there right on Elton. Not really a place to get past here unless Elton makes a mistake, which he doesn't. And what a great start to this race this has been. Dr. Pepsi looking for a way through, perhaps trying to force Elton into a mistake in this very technical, tricky part of the track, which catches so many drivers out. So easy to Austin Powers your car on one of these corners. But everybody's fine. I think Dulage now pulling away, so Elton perhaps going a bit defensive against Dr. Pepsi, and that's slowing the pair of them down. That's giving Dulage breathing space, but it's also allowing Dens and Espadretti in the background there to start catching up. Dr. Pepsi has to clear Elton and get on with this. Of course, Dulage and Elton both gentleman drivers. Dr. Pepsi is the lead driver in the background. They've got to move position. That's Espadretti going through on Dens. Don't very often have to commentate Dens being overtaken, but that has just happened. And Espadretti now will be breathing down the neck of the drivers in front of him very soon. Dr. Pepsi and Elton going side by side as we approach the beginning of lap 4. Elton, can he outbrake Dr. Pepsi? Oh, there's a lot of trust between those two then. Elton a little bit wide, Espadretti a little bit wide as well. Everybody trying to carry as much speed through that tight corner as possible. Dr. Pepsi once again in that slipstream at this time. Espadretti so close, and they're going to know from previous races together, Dr. Pepsi and Espadretti, that when Espadretti's got you, that's it, he's through. Oh, Elton goes wide and clips the barrier. That's scrubbed all his speed off, which is not only allowed Dr. Pepsi through, but also Espadretti, who's now right on the heels of the British driver. And this could be an absolutely epic battle, or will they just be content to hold station and chase after race leader Dulage? Got to, not just be fast, but also try to think your way through the race. A little bit further down the order, Kevman back up into 8th now. He's having a battle with Arden at the moment. Unusual to see John Boy so far back. He might be bogged down in traffic. Oh, Espadretti there, just clipping the barrier, losing a little bit of speed. But look how quickly Dr. Pepsi has reeled in Dulage. He's really giving it all. I can't imagine Dr. Pepsi is saving fuel or tyres. He must have a strategy already planned out, but the top 5 cars, they're all in the same shot. So any mistakes, any incidents, and this top 5 group could be turned on its head. So Dr. Pepsi closing in on Dulage. Oh, he takes too much curb. Dr. Pepsi took too much curb and he lost the back end. He managed to keep the car going in a straight line, but he's just handed second place to Espadretti. And look in the background, Elton already catching up, showing that he might be a gentleman driver. That doesn't mean he's a pushover. So Elton past Dens, and there is Dens. The top 5 cars all staying together. If I'm going to have to commentate the entire thing and there's no highlight break, then I'll tell you what, I'm going to lose my voice by the end of this race. Espadretti already starting to reel in Dulage up ahead. He's a driver we've seen win so many races on this channel in the past. He's an absolute machine, and as you can see, Dulage just getting closer and closer all the time. Go over the summit now with Espadretti chasing down Dulage. Oh, he's pushed too hard. Espadretti into the barrier. That's time lost, position lost. That's a penalty, and no doubt damage to the front end of Espadretti's car. It was a big impact. It looks like his engine's okay because he's still managed to keep up with Dens, but that is a big blow to Espadretti's campaign. Dens is in the slipstream of Elton up ahead, and so he's got a little bit of help to get away from Espadretti, who now is going to fall back at the penalty zone. John Boy just in the background there has a chance now to use the speed advantage he's got. He's going to cruise up right behind Espadretti. He's going to get past. He's going for the outside. John Boy sweeps around into 5th place, so that's a very costly mistake for Espadretti, who was pushing very hard. So where does that leave? That leaves us with Elton and Dens dicing Dens, I think, must be perhaps short shifting and lifting and coasting just to maximise his fuel. Espadretti indeed in for repairs, so he was carrying heavy damage from that accident, and that's going to drop him right down the order. He's going to have a very difficult day at the office now. Another driver with a difficult day at the office. Dens, a driver we'd expect to see up at the front already, is under attack from Elton, who's really got him. It's his cat and mouse on the front of his car, and that is exactly what this looks like right now. Elton looking to the outside of this corner as well. Dens driving defensively in the middle of the track. Oh, Elton just got that slightly wrong. He misjudged the speed needed for that corner because he was off his usual line, and that's bought Dens a little bit of daylight. Over the summit, first and second, Delage and Dr. Pepsi. These two getting closer and closer. See, Dr. Pepsi, they're really good on this final section of the track. He's really confident. He knows what he's doing. He's raced here in iRacing, in fact, in endurance races, so he knows this track very, very intimately, and he's got himself right on the back of Delage. He's going to probably go for a move down here. We're going to see him move to the left, so he's got the inside play the braking zone. Here he goes to the left. Dr. Pepsi around the outside. All he's got to do now is outbrake Delage and not take too much curb like he did last time. Drops his car in front of his opponent, and once again he has hit the curb. Dr. Pepsi just carrying too much speed and expecting too much of the car. Very sloppy, he's very fast but making these silly mistakes. The headlights are on, it's going to get harder to see. He's got to calm himself down and just try to focus a little bit more on his objective. Almost 14 minutes in, and Dr. Pepsi has fallen back into the clutches of Dens. I did say Dens was going to be a danger, and here he is closing in on Dr. Pepsi under this starlit sky. Dens no doubt in the slipstream now at this point, and he's going to be trying to find any way past Dr. Pepsi he can. He's seen his opponent's speed. He knows he's really got to get a wiggle on. Dens there lapping in the 155 to 157, not particularly consistent. Dr. Pepsi also not consistent, so these two drivers toing and froing as they look to maximise their cars. Dr. Pepsi looks like he's actually reeling in Delage a little bit now, getting about the same sort of pace as Dens behind him. Is he going defensive? No, he's pitting. So Dr. Pepsi going for his mandatory stop very early on. That puts Dens up into second place, and Dens is going to be pleased to see some daylight up ahead, or perhaps he's not really pleased because he's lost his slipstream. But Dr. Pepsi is still with just under half a tank of fuel remaining, with 35 minutes of this race to go. He was really burning that fuel. I wonder if he's pushed the car too hard, and he's starting to worry about fuel and tyres. But Elton now up into third place, some way back, just a few seconds, and then a few seconds more back to John Boy. Dens is so quick, he's getting on the back of Delage, and he's going to be with him very, very soon. He's got the slipstream for sure, and Delage there peeling off into the pits for his mandatory stop, which means Dens is promoted to race leader. Where is he? There he is. And Delage, let's see, how much of an advantage did he have over the drivers behind him? Elton should be coming through any moment. Yes, Elton comes through into second place. The drivers starting to really spread out. We're seeing a big disparity in the pace of the drivers. You have to wonder how many of the cars behind are actually saving fuel. John Boy moves up into third place. Of course, none of the top three at the moment have pitted, so they're trying to get as much out of the cars as they can while the cars are as light as possible. And these three drivers may be on the medium tyres, not the softs, so you know they're going to get as much out of them as they can. We're a little over halfway through the race now, and John Boyce just pulled off into the pits, and as I correctly predicted, he was on mediums. He'd got some fuel left, so John Boy's going to fuel to the end. It could be a little bit of an early stop to go onto the softs. Perhaps John Boy, believing he can get the softs to the end. Is he going to lose any places while he's in the pits though? The resurgent Jim Chaser moves up into fourth place. One of the great things about endurance races. Oh, Dr. Pepsi's just lost it. While I was talking there, he got out onto the curb there, spun the car. He took a big penalty and maybe carrying damage as well. So Dr. Pepsi, he was pushing very hard to catch up, and once again having an argument with a curb, which seems to have been a feature of his race today. And that's going to put Chimp Chaser in a great position now to get back onto the podium. Also, Dr. Pepsi's carrying damage. He's going to have to pit again. Well, that's going to ruin things for him. There's a big gap back to Espadretti in 5th, but he really needed to be getting off after Dens, and this is a disaster. So is Dr. Pepsi going to pit is the question, and is this going to put him into the clutches of the 5th place driver? We're going to find out. 4.5 seconds is a big penalty. So here we go, he's coming up to the penalty line now. We're about to serve it. Of course, Chimp Chaser will go straight through, and that's a long time to be decelerating. There goes Chimp Chaser up into 3rd place. Dr. Pepsi does indeed keep his 4th place. Espadretti too far back to make any move on that, but a disaster for the driver who was looking very, very much like he could win this race. So Chimp Chaser has put off into the pits, as has Dr. Pepsi. Now Dr. Pepsi's probably already made his mandatory stop, I'm guessing, and he may opt to go back onto softs for the remainder of the race, which could make him fast. But Espadretti is now going to come through, take that 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place. Big jump up the order for Espadretti. Myself getting into 4th, but there's a gaggle of cars here. We've got John Boy, we've got Kevman, and we've got McFlurry. All together, it's a big midfield pack. John Boy, I think statistically speaking, the strongest driver in this pack. In fact, he's going up to 4th place now. John Boy on the move, perhaps sensing that maybe he can pull a podium out of the bag if there's another kind of incident up ahead. Espadretti not too far up the road, so that 3rd place definitely up for grabs if John Boy can keep it consistent. Meanwhile, race leader Dens is into the pits. He's got 1% of fuel left, so he give it everything. And he's going to go into the softs. They should be pretty good to the end of the race. The question is, will he lose out to Elton? Now, Elton's pitted as well. So Elton has pitted. This could be Espadretti taking the lead of the race, or is he just too far back? No, Dens has left the pits, still in the lead of this race. So a driver you should never bet against, and he is on the move. Elton still stationary, I think, at this time, so Espadretti could get him here. Elton just exited the pits on soft, so Espadretti not quite able to capitalise on that pit stop. Well, the sun is shining, and the front drivers, the top 4, have all checked out, but the battle between Chimp Chaser and Dr. Pepsi continues. We've got Kevman in the background there. We've got McFlurry for company, and Tweetman, I think, as well, just coming through there into 8th place. Dr. Pepsi looking for a way around Chimp Chaser, not finding it. They've got to be very careful about those cars behind him. Tweetman perhaps having a secret weapon up his sleeve with, oh no, in the background there, Kevman just got speared into the barrier, and that has got to be damage. Yeah, Kevman having to drop into the pits, so his race has just taken a very unexpected turn for him. Meanwhile, McFlurry all over the grass trying to keep up with Tweetman. Tweetman, of course, can see this battle ahead of him unfolding, and it's giving him a chance to get involved because Chimp Chaser is driving very defensively right now to keep Dr. Pepsi behind him. So yeah, Tweetman has the DRS secret weapon. Not really a secret because everybody knows about it. Dr. Pepsi there taking 5th up ahead, but Tweetman joining the battle, perhaps looking to be the best of the rest at this point. And Chimp Chaser gets on the power too early, back end slides, push the cars side by side. Oh no, but that wasn't where Tweetman needed to be, into the barrier, and that's his charge over for now. Positions lost, time lost, and a penalty, not what he needed at all. Dr. Pepsi giving it full beans. He's made some mistakes, he's been pushing too hard, but now he's got John Boy just up ahead in his sights, and John Boy's actually gone too wide. John Boy went wide at the last corner, and that's put Dr. Pepsi through into 4th place, and he'll be pleased about that. About 10 minutes of racing left. Tweetman promoted to 6th as John Boy and McFlurry both dive into the pits. John Boy perhaps has burnt out the soft tyres on his mid-engine car, and McFlurry just out of fuel, so he's gone for a last 10 minutes burn on the softs. Great battle developing here for the last step on the podium. Dr. Pepsi versus Espadretti. These drivers have clashed plenty of times in the past on this channel, and it looks like they're going to clash once again. Dr. Pepsi needing to take some deep breaths and stop making mistakes. He could be so much further ahead than he actually is if he'd been avoiding the curbs a little bit more. Perhaps if he'd been hitting the accelerator a little bit gentler. But right now he's looking good. Espadretti, I think, has some tyre woes because his car looked all at sea through that section, and Dr. Pepsi sailed past. But can he stay there? Because Espadretti's most definitely got a slipstream at this point, and it looks as though he could use it to get a move on the left. Dr. Pepsi keeping his car to the left, trying to cover that line. Just manages to stay ahead and avoid any kind of attack from Espadretti. So these two having a great back and forth. Espadretti not letting Dr. Pepsi go. We've got one more left, and it's a big, long straight, and that is a point at which Espadretti can use the slipstream, but I think he's falling back a little bit. I think Pedretti's tyres are starting to look a little bit used, and Dr. Pepsi perhaps just with better control underneath him. Yeah, I think the slipstream could be broken there. We've got Tweetman into the pits, but here Dr. Pepsi trying his best to cement that third place, that last podium step. It's been a corker, but this could be the final lap. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. I think perhaps Den's about to come through and start another lap. Elton hard on his heels, so Elton could take this win if Den has any kind of fuel miscalculations, or if he has some sort of accident. Let's have a look. Can Dr. Pepsi get another lap as well? Drivers might not have taken the extra lap into account when they got their fuel. Oh no! Mackie there being very polite and letting Dr. Pepsi through, but he then spun out. Espadretti heading to the pits for some reason. I don't know why, because the race is over. We've got Chim Chaser here in 5th, who might actually take Espadretti's place off him for that. He might punish it. He does indeed. So Espadretti, I don't know why he's done that. Kevman and John Boy 6th and 7th. We've got Arden there in 8th. Is that how they're going to finish? It is indeed. Tweetman has a penalty with myself behind him, so is Tweetman going to hang on to that 9th position, or is he going to lose? I think he's going to lose out. He does indeed. I finished 9th, Tweetman 10th, and then in 11th we've got McFlurry. He's going to come home in that position because Mackie a lap down. He's already finished, but at the front the battle rages on. Den's being chased down by Elton. I think Den's has an advantage, but he only needs to get one corner wrong, and Elton is going to be all over him. All of the drivers have pushed like crazy for the entire 50 minutes. They've been through the night, they've been through the sunrise, and unfortunately the race did end there with the lobby timeout kicking in, and it was Den's who won. So congratulations to Den's and all of the drivers who raced. It was a great spectacle and a very difficult race. And hey, pat yourself on the back for watching this video as well, why don't you? Hope you'll join us again next time for more GT7 racing, and until then, bye bye for now.